All right, so types of bank accounts. Banks and credit unions offer different types of accounts so individuals can choose the one that best suits them. If you have a lot of transactions, for example, you may need a different type of bank account than a person who only saves their money. And the reason being is banks, sometimes what they'll do is charge monthly service charges or service fees for their accounts. But when you deposit money in a financial institution, it may pay you interest, very little interest. The amount of interest depends on the type of account and the amount of money in it in order to earn interest. So some accounts also require a minimum balance that is to be maintained each month. So what banks offer in different ways to access and manage your account. So here's a couple of them. You're probably familiar with them, if not their names. There's one's called self-service banking, is one banking done over the phone or with a designated phone number over the internet, which is online banking, or on an app, or through a banking machine called an ATM. Now, what is an ATM? It's called an automated teller machine, where you go and get cash. Whichever is used, a combination of these, a bank teller is not required. Now there's this other option which is called the full service banking, is banking you do in person. So you actually travel into the bank with the help of an actual physical teller, the person that works at the bank. So tellers will conduct the same self-service options mentioned above. There are some services that can only be done through full service banking. This includes opening or closing an account, exchanging Canadian money for foreign currency, or purchasing what's called traveler's checks. Now, not only do banks charge service fees for having an account, they also may charge a fee for every time you use your account. These are called transaction fees. And they also include deposits, cash withdrawals, bill payments, check, money transfers, and using your debit card. Most accounts include a certain number of free transactions with your monthly service fee, but there can be additional costs for each transaction over that number. So there are many types of accounts offered by financial institutions. Each one has its own name for the different accounts, but they also have some form of what's called checking account. And I'll spell it the Canadian version, checking account, and what's called a savings account. For this course, the accounts used are described on the next page. So here is the table. And you have what's called a value account, everyday account, premium account, and a bonus savings account. There are various fees to whichever account you choose, and there are certain restrictions. So the fee is waived. You don't have to pay the fee. If you choose the value account, you have to have a minimum balance of $1,000. If you choose the everyday account, a minimum balance of $1,500, and a premium account, a minimum balance of $2,000. And then the no fee account. Now, what do you get with each account? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom out. Let me just make it slightly smaller. There we go. So here are, for your value account, you get 10 self-service. Anything after that is 50 cents. If you use a teller, it's $1. If you use any other bank other than the Northwest Bank, it's $1.50, and they don't pay you any interest. Everyday account, you pay a monthly fee of $10.90. You have to keep a balance of $1,500, and then of course you get 25 self-service free, and every other one after that is 50 cents. And if you go see a teller, it's $1. And notice these additional charges. Now, if you get the premium account, it's $24.50, but you have to maintain a minimum balance of $2,000, which is even more. And then you get 40 self-service fees, and then no annual credit card fee. And then if you go beyond that, it's just 25 cents. There is no charges if you go to a different bank to withdraw money, and no interest. The bonus savings account, they don't charge you anything. You don't have to have a minimum balance. You're only allowed 2 transactions, but every transaction is $1.25. And notice how expensive this is. But they do give you interest. Okay? So you have to be mindful of what the charges are and what type of person you are when you go to the bank or the ATM and how many transactions you normally do. Okay? So there is an example on the very next page. It says here, deciding on which bank account to choose really depends on the specific needs. It's important to look at this carefully as you do not spend money unnecessarily. So here's example number 1. Elsie wants to open a new bank account. She makes 2 deposits and 5 cash withdrawals at her ATM each month. She pays 4 bills online and keeps a balance of over $1,000. Which account would you advise her to use, and what are her fees for each of the different accounts that Northwest Bank of Canada offers? So what we're going to do is we're going to do each account based on these transactions, and we'll see which one is the most cost effective. Okay? So here are the value account options. So if you choose value account, all right, she pays $0, right? $0. Oops. Let me just make sure. She puts $0. Now, she does 11 minus 10 free, right? She's allowed 10 free, so that means she has to do, oops, she has 10 free, oops, 10 free, I'm sorry, and then so therefore she has to pay 1 transaction. Now, what does that 1 transaction cost? That costs, well, first of all, she gets the 10 free, so that's 0. And then for 1 transaction that she has to pay, it's 50 cents. And so her total fee is 50 cents. Now, the everyday account, right? The everyday account, she pays a monthly fee of $10.90. So what that allows her is 25 transactions free, but she does only 11. So she gets 14 free. And so there is actually no charge to that, right? But she pays $10.90. And again, I apologize for how the video is turning out. So her overall fee for the month is $10.90. Because there is no fee. She doesn't go over the 25 that she's allowed. Now the premium account, she pays $24.50. That allows her 40 free transactions. But since she only uses 11, she pays $24.50. 0 transaction fees because she doesn't go over a limit. So her monthly total is $24.50. Now, the value account, she pays 50 cents. The everyday account, she pays $10.90. The premium account, she pays $24.50 for all those scenarios. So what is the best suggestion for Elise, or Elsie, I should say? Well, the value account is the best deal for her. And your situation might be different, okay? So try the next option, assignment number 2. Consider all the transactions and then decide which one is the best deal.